Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saline River News. I'm Rob Reep. Wanted to hop on very quickly, just do a live stream. We've got the official vote totals in from the Bradley County Jail sales tax votes. Of course, there was two things on the ballot that had to both pass in order for Bradley County to move forward with building a new jail. All of this information that I'm about to give you is already on SalineRiverNews.com. And I apologize, I'm kind of hopping on here last minute. We've had basketball going tonight. I'm also getting these results out there, but every bit of this is already posted. I've even already got the precinct by precinct information, vote totals already on that story. So not just the vote totals, but if you're interested in having the vote totals from your exact community precinct, all of that is already on SalineRiverNews.com. So basically, bottom line here is, of course, two things were on the ballot. Those of you that voted know that. There was a 0.625% sales and use tax, which was on the ballot, and that was, I think, basically going to be used to maintain, furnish, do things like that of the jail if it passed. Then, of course, there was the 1% sales tax that was going to be used for the what was on the ballot showed up as $19 million. Now they did quote 15 around. I think it was around 15 million. For the total construction cost, but that gave them some wiggle room, I think, if it was needed. But this thing, both votes resoundingly go down. Looking here again, I want to go. This is the vote totals. I'm about to give you vote totals here. All of this is on SalineRiverNews.com. The 0.625% sales and use tax, countywide. 713 against, 287 for. Then the 1%, 696 against, 305 for. So I tried to break this down into percentages. So the 0.625% sales and use tax basically fails 71.3% against to 28.7% for. And then the 1% failed 69.5% to 30.5%. This is a big defeat. I think is the only way you can state it. Again, several of you are jumping on now. I want to tell you that we do have, if you're interested, the vote totals and all the precincts listed at Saline River News. But I kind of wanted to go through some of those numbers here. Just a quick second. Again, it was a big defeat for the possibility of a new county jail. We'll have to see exactly how the county wants to move forward now with trying to, again, I think the argument was to reduce cost of transporting prisoners to other jails around the area. Please do me a favor, if you don't mind. You can share this. Or just drop a comment, hit the like button. I appreciate those of you that are hopping on. So in Ward 1 inside the city of Warren, of course, most of these vote totals, big chunk of them are going to come from the city of Warren. The 0.625% sales and use tax just in Warren's Ward 1 failed 64 to 32. The 1% failed 60 to 36 in Ward 2 of the city of Warren. 80 on the 0.625%, 81 against, 45 for. On the 1%, again, Warren Ward 2 against, 80 for, 46. We move to Ward 3 on the 0.625%. Against, 77 for, 36. On the 1%, 73 against, for, 40. In the north box, let's see, the 0.625% against, 151, for, 77. On the 1% from that north box, against, 148, for, 80. We moved to that south box. 0.625% failed 98 to 40. On the 1%, it failed also 98 to 40. Then we moved to, and thank you guys so much for the likes. I appreciate that. We moved to banks. This is inside the community of banks, inside their limits. This is for that precinct. Of course, just if only a few votes there, but it did fail. Again, kind of by a resounding margin, as all those low vote totals. The 0.625% as well as the 1% failed 8 to 4. We moved to the rural box for banks. This is outside of the town of Banks limits. The 0.625% failed 24 to 5. Then the 1%, a little bit of an oddity here, but interesting. The 1% failed 20 to 9. And again, all of this information, those of you that are just now jumping online, every bit of this is already on SalineRiverNews.com. We've been up later in the evening tonight trying to get all this together for you and get it posted as quickly as we could. All right, we moved to Spring Hill. This was, again, just the Spring Hill box. The 0.625% failed 27 to 7. The 1% jail and the 1% failed 27 to 7 as well. So exact on that. And again, both of these things had to pass. If you only voted for one or the other, they were kind of tied together. It was how they had to do it, but without both passing, nothing happens. So one or the other didn't matter. You had to get both of them across the line, and that was did not happen today. We moved to the City of Hermitage. This is the just City of Hermitage precinct box. The 0.625%. Failed 26 to 7. The 1% failed 25 to 9. The Hermitage Rural box, 0.625%, failed 76 to 22. The 1% failed 79 to 19. We move to the Eagle Lake box. Again, this is the Eagle Lake box. The 0.625% failed 20 to 3. The 1% failed 19 to 4. Then we move to Jersey. This is just the Jersey precinct box. 0.625% sales and use tax failed 8 to 3. Exact same results on the 1%. Move to Johnsville. The 0.625%, 27 in favor, 27 against, 27 against, 2 for. So 27 to 2, I really messed that up. 27 to 2 against. The 1% from Johnsville failed 26 to 3. And then the last precinct box I have is for Marion. 0.625% failed 26 to 4, and then the 1% failed 25 to 5. So again, I want to give you the vote totals. Those of you that are watching, this is all on SalineRiverNews.com already in text format. You can go check it out for yourself there. But essentially, we had a total votes cast of 1,000, and I'll have to try to figure out. I think I've got another page on here that tells what the exact voter turnout was here. I think it was just I've lost that. I'll have to find that for you and maybe post that a little later. It was low. It was of course, this being a special election, that's somewhat normal. But anyway, the vote totals. You had a total number of votes of 1,000 countywide. The 0.625% sales and use tax failed by a vote of 713 against, 287 for. That is a 71.3% against to 28.7% for, only on those who voted. Then on the 1%, it failed 696 votes against, 305 votes for. That is a total percentage-wise 69.5 against to 30.5% for. So bottom line here, no new Bradley County Jail. Both of these, I want to reiterate, both of these items had to pass. They were tied together. But neither one of them did. A resounding defeat for both of these sales tax measures. And so Bradley County right now will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how they're going to move forward with the possibility of a new jail in the future. But right now, the voters have spoken, and it is obviously the message tonight seems to be fairly clear that the sales tax was not going to pass. So all this information, again, at SalineRiverNews.com. I want to thank all of you so much for joining us. To keep up with all your local news, SalineRiverNews.com is the place to be. We've got a busy week. Like I said, I've been covering basketball tonight. We had Lady Jack basketball versus Malvern. That article is already on the site. I've got basketball again Thursday, and then we head for a long trip to Gosnell on Friday night. But all these vote totals are on SalineRiverNews.com. Again, thank you guys so much for the likes. Thank you for joining me here. I just wanted to jump on. I think it's obviously an important bit of news for everyone throughout the county. And I want to just, again, thank you all for joining me here on this little quick live stream. Wish you the best. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.